A letter to the lost. Look around you. See how none of this makes sense? See how there are more questions than answers? See how every step feels more and more isolated and detached from intentionality, void of any meaningful trajectory? We'll take that, push it aside for a second and listen. Because underneath, just underneath, there exists perhaps the most valuable undertaking of your life. That's right, the deserts of life, the valleys of despair, those chapters of wandering, they are what make you, what define you. The little trick life plays, though, is that you can't see that value until you're removed from it. Just like a fish has no idea it's in water, water is the only existence the fish has ever known, you are moving through the most important, valuable, precious season of your life, disguised as, you guessed it, the least important and least valuable season of your life. I was recently at a lunch with some folks in the Phoenix area. A friend of mine said something that, since the words left his mouth, I haven't been able to stop thinking about. He was a few seats down and in the middle of a story, but I could overhear it, right? And right in the middle of his story, he says, I had the opportunity to have my assets frozen by my ex and live off of $200 a month. My instinct upon hearing that was to laugh, right? It was like, there we go, a little bit of that New England sarcasm down here in the desert. And I smile and I look over, and he's not smiling. In fact, I was the only person at the table smiling. And the light bulb goes off and it's like, oh, my guy is serious, and he was. He goes on about, being grateful for the reset and how he's looking forward to getting out there and building again. The dude's incredibly good at what he does, so I can only imagine, but you can see how that would be jarring to hear. It's just so different than the norm, especially just in casual, discourse. And what a perspective. How beautiful, right? The things we can take from our low points, the gold we can extract from our struggle. The value is there, right? That's objectively true. The challenge is the choice we're given, whether or not we see it, choose to see it, whether the adversity wrecks you or transforms you, whether it becomes something meaningful or whether it kind of subtly slips away unnoticed. One of the things that I'm asked probably more than any other when I'm on podcasts, I'm just kind of chopping it up, is, Eddie, what advice or what do you have for someone who's going through the thick of it? Usually in the context of the toughest years of building this company. It's like, well, what about other people going through that? They feel stuck or lost or forgotten by life. What's something that could elevate them? And, my response is always the same. It's good. Because some people don't get the luxury of being lost. Some people are never pushed to change. Life doesn't take them to their knees. And you might think, well, that's a good thing. But it's not, because the lack of adversity removes the very incentive required for evolution. Our time lost is time spent in recreation. One of my favorite examples of this is author J.K. Rowling. When she was at her lowest point, broke, I assume just scared and, definitely amidst the chaos of life. And she's sitting down at a cafe, scratching, notes into a notebook, with her baby next to her, accepting payments from, the government, trying to make ends meet. And that becomes her foundation for a work of art that would change human history in many ways. And it's like those moments in time could easily be an unraveling. I could easily see a situation where that's her excuse to call it quits, or hide, or, become a victim of sorts. But instead, it empowers greatness. There's something to that idea of the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's a phrase heard all the time. It's pretty common, but it's not just mythology. To me, it's the perfect metaphor. Some things must be destroyed before they can be reborn. Like that mythological bird that bursts into flames before rising again. Those moments of despair push us to rethink and reimagine and redefine. Those moments, living off your metaphorical $200 a month, help us both understand what truly matters and simultaneously appreciate the abundance that we were otherwise so accustomed to, that perhaps we took for granted, we thought nothing of. These chapters of life will be the most important. And I say this, not as reassurance for the sake of reassurance, right? This is not, the trio on the Titanic playing their instruments, as the ship sank. I'm saying this to remind you how much value surrounds you and to perhaps incentivize you to keep going. Sometimes we need to be reminded that every storm ends, and on the other side, we step out not the same as we stepped in. Believe in your becoming. And it doesn't make sense now. That's the crux of all this. That's what I want to emphasize. It does not make sense now, but that's okay, it will. In fact, I'll refer you to the ever-relevant Steve Jobs quote. He says, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards." So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. And these chapters of not knowing, the wandering, they are nothing more than a connection of dots in real time. It's the magic coming to life before your very eyes, where the pain becomes the opportunity, not only to escape it, but to transcend it. Like the phoenix, to chase down worlds anew that are longing to be discovered, that are in this very moment, not only waiting, but waiting